Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. As you've heard us say on numerous occasions, when I was talking with Deke earlier about that Lawnmower 4.0, it can clean you up real nice. It keeps the hedges trimmed low, keeps the grass nice and neat, you know. Like we talked about, when people want to view your yard, you want your lawn to look good, okay? You don't want no weeds. You don't want no bushes. Lawnmower 4.0, make sure you turn that light on too. Low and slow is the way to go. But more importantly, man, definitely check them out. And as we always tell you, we don't talk about people unless we get promo codes. And we happen to have a promo code, and that promo code is MOATS. You use that promo code, you get you 20% off along with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com. So stop wasting time. Make sure you hit them. Use the promo code. Your delicate twins will definitely thank you. All
okay,
right.
The preview. Where do you want to start with?
Man. All right.
The breakdowns or the
Yes.
likes, dislikes?
Let's start likes, dislike. All right. Like we always do. Keep it consistent. Whew.
I might have the best note template I've never made, honestly.
Big professional guy today. All right.
I think so. I found that you could do in your notes here, your pages document, like a whole note template. So I was pretty amped about that, but now it doesn't look like I saved it maybe. Oh no, here it is. I was going to be really pissed. Look at this.
That's fancy.
You like that?
Right. I see you.
Little MacBook pages.
Let's go.
All right. You want to start?
Yeah, you go first, man.
Is Lamar Jackson playing? Well, you know what? Either way,
Yeah.
I like Lamar Jackson, even if he's on the bench.
Okay.
He gives them a little bit of hope, maybe. I don't know.
If he's playing that, I mean, obviously, if he's playing, he's on my list. I just don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's gonna play. I feel like they're playing that whole game of don't announce that he's not playing because then we know to prepare for this guy. You listen to Coach T, man. Coach T know who he's preparing for. And if they throw Lamar out there with his current status, like I said, that's only going to help us even more.
Obviously, he's a difference maker.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They might actually have won one of these past 5 games if he was in.
Yeah.
Even though Huntley's done good in spurts, but I think we saw the Rams game last week where it's almost like the Duck Hodges effect. It's petering out a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a difference between Lamar and a guy like Tyler Huntley.
Yeah. Even though Doug didn't even have a Huntley game yet.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, Huntley, his one game.
No. But that's why Huntley's probably going to stay in the league.
Yeah, it's kind of like, these are all one-hit wonders, but that boy had a hit. You know what I mean? Like, those other guys, they was local. They was doing spots at the south side. You know?
So, all right, instead of Lamar Jackson, I'll just say Mark Andrews.
Okay.
One of the top 3 tight ends in the league.
No, without a doubt. In fact, I'll follow you. I'll say I have Mark Andrews' usage because I just like how they feature him. Most teams, you talk about playing through a tight end. That's not something that you want to do, but it fits their system in terms of Lamar. It fits even when Huntley comes in. Like I said, they see the field the same way at times. It's crazy. But I feel like with Mark, he's just a very quarterback-friendly target. Like his catch rate, like his toughness. Always gets open. Yeah. Just good player. All around good player.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Number 2.
They actually use him, like you said. They use him.
Number 2, I have John Harbaugh. I think he's a good coach. I think he's always been a good coach.
I can't believe.
No, I think he's a good coach. He's a top 5 or 6 coach in the NFL. He has been.
He better
pretty
than
much.
Coach T?
No, he's not.
Okay,
I don't have him better than
Just
Coach T. No. But, I mean, they're in the same conversation. Top 5 or 6 coaches in the NFL. They have been basically ever since they got into the league.
Yeah, true.
The rivalries going back and forth and whatnot. I mean, it's not a coincidence he's been in the NFL for 14 years.
Bro, wait a minute. Why you sound like you like Baltimore all of a sudden, bro?
No. I'm just, we're talking about likes. We're talking about what we like about their team. So, if he was fired, it would be like the Andy Reid effect. Or if Tomlin was fired, he'd be picked up immediately. Everyone wants to rip on him, or at times people rip on Tomlin, but these guys are good coaches, and other teams would beg to have a coach like them. I think, if anything, this season, this run, these close games, even though they've been a ton of losses, actually is a good look for John Harbaugh because
you are a rat bird lover.
No,
my
I'm just saying,
God. First
Ravens.
I should have called one. You was. It wasn't about Baker. You were taking a more of a division transition. You were letting us know that since Ben is leaving, you're no longer a Steelers fan, you're a Ravens fan. So that's why you wanted to say Mason over Baker to piss off Cleveland.
Well, then you wanted to say I take Mason, Lamar over Mason.
See, you wanted to have Mason here in Pittsburgh, and now, Lord.
I'd take Burrow over Mason though too. I don't know where does that have you leaning?
I forgot about Cincinnati. Never mind.
But no, to only lose to the Packers by one. All these close games, the Rams by one. What is it? 1 point in 4 of their 5 games they lost by 1 or 2 points.
I mean, the loss they had to us in Green Bay were 2-point conversion essentially. Like, you make a different decision here or there, you take it overtime. Who knows what happens? You know what I mean?
But considering all the injuries, the state of the team, I mean, Tyler Huntley is the backup. Packers right now look like they're the best team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. To literally be a 2-point conversion away from beating them with the state of their team, like that just goes to show John Harbaugh deserves some credit for just galvanizing the troops. It's been all these games. Like the Rams are still a good team.
No, they are.
You know, I mean, didn't they lose the 2 to the Browns? Outside of the Bengals, we got housed by them too. Ravens have kept like pretty much all these games close, one way or another, whether they've won them close or they've lost them close.
Now, unfortunately, I do agree with you. Now, I'm not throwing Harbaugh on my list because I always feel like it's beef. Because I was.
Do you actually think they don't like each other, Tomlin and Harbaugh?
I don't think it's like beef. I'm saying like, as a player, we always get irritated when people are, Harbaugh over Tom. We're always like, why? How? And like that was my
There's no reason.
So for us as players, we really, it rubs us the wrong way. So that's why you'll never hear me like, I respect Harbaugh as a coach, but I can't highlight him today. Not today. Okay. Not today. But what I will say is
so you agree with me off the record?
No comment. No comment. But I would say I like how their defensive guys have stepped up. The others.
Yes.
Because they've had a ton of injuries. But you look at a guy like Chuck Clark, for example, coming off a big 2 interception performance. Ever since he's taken over with, the situation that happened with the safety room these past couple years for them, right? With Earl Thomas leaving, with what's the cat that he tore his ACL and they brought him back this year. He just had a turnover this last game too. Oh my goodness, came from Arizona. Tony Jefferson. Yeah, even when like both of those guys, remember it was Tony Jefferson and Weddle, then it was Jefferson and Earl Thomas. Now it's Chuck Clark and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name right now.
I think I got the depth chart pulled up.
But either way, when you think about those, or you think about Averett, you think about some of these outside guys that have stepped up, and you're just like, man, these
Brandon Stevens.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was like these weren't the guys that we came in the season expecting to play well. Marlon Humphrey isn't even out there anymore. You think like they're down Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, and they still aren't getting torched and trashed from a passing game perspective. Like, to me, that is something that I think you got to, tip your cap to. And I don't like tip my cap to them Raven dudes, but we got to tip our cap on that part right there.
So you say defense as a whole? I'll just specifically.
No, I ain't say defense. I ain't say as a whole.
Certain guys stepping up.
Yeah, just the others, the other defensive guys that have stepped up.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I still think they defense can be had.
Definitely.
For a fact, they can be had.
I get what you're saying though. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But it's kind of like when we were talking about Pierre at times, right?
Yeah.
Or we talked about like a Keller. It's like we didn't expect some of these guys to come in.
At least they're keeping us in the game.
Hassenauer. Yeah, like when I see those guys for them defensively, knowing all the injuries they really sustained, it's like, no, they're competitive. They're gonna compete.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say rush defense.
Okay.
They're top 3 in the league. I mean, their front seven's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Patrick Queen is having a really good season. Yeah, they got guys, and they're stopping the run at a really good clip. Now, I do want to touch on some stuff with the pass defense, but that's more on my dislikes. But, I mean, their rush defense is top 3 in the league, so that's obviously something to like.
Nah, 100%, man. My last thing is special teams.
I forgot about it, actually.
Yeah, bro, they are weapons.
I don't know if it's on purpose or not.
Yeah, this is when it all started for Boss, It's when he started missing kicks this year. Yeah. Something about when a certain individual is in the stadium, man, it just make guys get a little different. They happen to have 2 guys. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be there this Sunday, so Ball should make everything.
Yes, I hope so.
There's going to be no jinx on him.
Hopefully he's not kicking a lot unless the extra points. Yeah.
Now, did anyone put anything in the chat, or we just want to go to dislikes?
I didn't even ask these because it's like the timing of it. I was like, man, it's 9:20. Like, ugh.
You know what? I'll just say name your likes and dislikes.
There you go. Yeah, put it in like that.
And then we could just start.
My bad.
And then we could just start listing off our dislikes.
Yeah. And then when theirs come in, we can read theirs off after we do our likes and dislikes together. So yeah, perfect.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I like when you go first right now.
All right, this one's easy.
Bro, your notes, man, I must say they look really fine and dandy over there, bro.
I mean, I'm probably not even really reading them. It's just more like I'm writing, free flowing.
You just look real professional, man.
They look pretty good.
Don't show up with a suit and tie next time, though. All right, keep it gutter for us. You know what I mean? Like
Why did I do that? It was the preseason game, the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. Just because when you did that, it made me feel like, man, I gotta up my game a little bit. All right, I started to get the jewels back. Let me get my neck. You know what I'm saying?
This one's easy. Injuries, you can't like that. They've been playing with a decimated roster the whole season. You want to talk about the running backs at the beginning of the season, even running backs kind of throughout the season. Wasn't Latavius Murray in and out?
Seriously.
Lamar Jackson gets hurt at the wrong time, losing their top two cornerbacks, one being Marlon Humphrey in December, the other one Marcus Peters at the beginning of the season. Offensive lineman, Ronnie Stanley, like they've been pretty much decimated. And not even just like their star guys, they've had certain guys missing on their roster throughout the season too. So injuries. But that goes back to my likes. So I think for them to even be at this point and losing those games by 1 point, that's credit to John Harbaugh, I think.
No, I like it. Yeah, for me, I agree. Team health was what I had put because as a whole, you hit it on the head right there. A lot of those dudes, man, have been injured on both sides of the ball, and they got to get that better. But the injuries that they had with the season ended variety, so you couldn't even, at least with like we talked about with our situation, sometimes at least guys are going to come back. With them, they didn't get that luxury. So
now this one's interesting because you mentioned how people are stepping up on defense, kind of like with their secondary. They're keeping the Ravens in the game. But I do have pass defense in my dislikes because I do think you're actually right in some of what you said because the stats could lie. They're like a top or bottom 3 pass defense in the league. They're letting up really gaudy numbers. At the same time, I think with their rush defense, teams are forced to pass in a way. And then when you add that they're missing their top 2 cornerbacks like that, you're gonna put up some numbers. At the same time, they've been holding their own somewhat, and that's why I think to say they're the bottom 3 pass defense so definitively based off the stats, I don't know if that's the case, but with where they're sitting right now, especially with Marlon Humphrey being out, that's something you can't really point to as a positive.
I would agree with that as well.
I don't think it's as bad as bottom 3 though, because of how good the rush defense is.
No, you bring up a good point.
You got to pass on them.
Yeah, and that's the thing we talk about.
And you
can
pass on them. You can pass on them for sure. Like Rams were going up and down the field on them, but those are some of the better offenses that you see.
For me, my second thing, as I looked on my list, because I remember my list wasn't on my computer.
I know you had it on your phone
today, bro. I was scrambling. I told you, man. But O-line. Yeah, I still can't get over that. Right. And obviously, a lot of it's because of the health. You look at Patrick. I'm gonna butcher this last name again. The right tackle,
McCary.
Yeah, McCary. I was about to say McCary. Yeah,
McCary. I think that's how it is.
I think it was. My problem is when I watch the tape, I keep the broadcast muted, so I never hear when they speak of these guys' names, and I'm always like, I know what it says. Yeah, I read it. I just don't know the pronunciation on it. So yeah, but that's my thing, man. The O-line. I just think that they're not. Times I don't think they're very good. I think that's
especially their edge guys.
Yeah, we know the tackle situation is bad. That is because of injuries. We understand that part as well, but that to me is an issue, and especially when you're talking about our defense, where that is one of our biggest strong points is the pressure we can get off the perimeter, off the edge, and stuff like that. Yeah, for me, I don't like their O-line. I think that Huntley and Lamar Jackson have made them bearable. Because of their
escapability.
Yeah, their escapability and how elusive they are at times. But if we're being real about it, I just don't think that they're a good unit. I think if they had
you're right.
If they had a regular quarterback, a non-mobile quarterback back there, it would be a lot worse in terms of the sack numbers and stuff like that. But yeah.
I forgot to include the O-line. But I will say for the offense, I guess you could throw the O-line in there maybe. But I'm going to say there's just no pop. There's nothing about their offense outside of Mark Andrews that really scares me. Yeah. Now, I don't know if it's the Steelers. It feels like we've had Lamar Jackson's number and just how their offense has operated over these past couple of years. But we even seen it in the first game this year against them. Yeah. Dude, I think their main guy had 50 yards. They spread it out a little bit, and Lamar Jackson had what do you have, 270 passing or something like that? But it never felt that way. Our defense actually held up pretty good outside of that final drive where they got all the way down there.
Very true. Yeah.
So, yeah, nothing on their offense scares me outside of Mark Andrews. I don't think there's that pop. I don't think there's that explosiveness.
I don't trust
Brown's good.
like that.
He's good,
I
but
like Bateman better than Brown, personally.
Yeah, Brown's up and down, and he's been on a run over these past 5 or 6 games. He's had less than 50 yards. Bateman, you're right, nice in his own right, but nothing that's like really scaring you. Maybe now without Joe Hayden, but I still like if Witherspoon keeps this up, man.
Honestly, if Bateman had a better quarterback, I think Bateman would be scary. I just don't think that Huntley is going to utilize Bateman like that. And at the time with Lamar, he didn't really get a lot of games with Bateman because Bateman was injured at the first half of it. But I don't think it's as cut and dry. Oh, yeah, this guy could lock up Bateman. I really don't. I just think that they don't have the quarterback play that's going to make Bateman be featured like that now.
That's fair. Maybe a better phrasing is utilization of their weapons outside of Andrews.
No, I agree with you.
Because it doesn't scare the defense at all.
Bateman's still young. He hasn't
proven
he looks
himself.
Good. He just looks good. But it's a small sample size.
And Sammy Watkins, I made this comparison today. He is the NFL's Andrew Wiggins. But Andrew Wiggins is better.
I would agree.
That's a pretty good comparison.
He has a Super Bowl, doesn't he?
I know, but so here's my point, though. He looked good in Kansas City with the weapons around him.
Right.
Not the featured guy, but a nice role player.
But when he's featured, he's not the guy.
Highly talented coming out. Never really lived up to his potential. That's a pretty good comparison.
I don't like when you do good comparisons, but that was a good comparison. I would agree with you on that.
But another reason as to why he doesn't really scare our defense or our secondary, because he's not in that right system right now.
All right. What's your last one then?
That's it. That was
you because you let it off. So for me, man, my last one is the decision making. And this is going back to those 2-point conversion attempts in some of those games. I just feel like I understand you can make the case of going for the win. And we talked about it in the moment where it's like, man, if you said you're going for the win because you just feel like you can win it right here, that's one thing. But his response for why he went for the win was not that. He said it was because I thought our guys could not last in overtime because of the injuries we had. I didn't think we could hold it. I didn't think we could stop them. To me, you're making a decision out of fear. That was my biggest thing. I don't like people that make decisions from fear. I want you to make that decision. If you're making it aggressively, be aggressive. Don't say, hey, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1 because I don't think we can stop this team if they get the ball back. Like, nah, you're going for it because you feel like they can't stop you and you can pick up this 1 yard and win this joint. Like, it's the mentality, you know? So that's why I feel with that right there.